Julian Jackson, another boxing legend, weighs in on the Terrence Crawford, Eroll Spence scenario and fight. Julian Jackson goes on to suggest to Errol Spence that if he wants to beat Terrence Bud Crawford, he's going to have to meet him with a lot of pressure. He do believes that pressure can have some effect in weighing down Terrence Bud Crawford, and it is the only way he favors Errol Spence to actually come out and pull out a victory. Now, Julian Jackson also goes on to say that if he had to pick a fighter, he's going to go with Terrence Bud Crawford. Simply because he said Terrence Bud Crawford is an amazing athlete and his timing is unreal. You know, he has very good timing and he's just a good all-around fighter. He believes both of them are good fighters. But he said if he has to favor a fighter or he has to side with a fighter, he's siding with Terrence Bud Crawford simply because he believes that Terrence Bud Crawford is an extraordinary talent and athlete. Now, Julian Jackson and his thoughts on Errol Spence fighting Terrence Bud Crawford and favoring Terrence Bud Crawford as the winner. He actually joins a host of other boxing legends who also agree and favor Terrence Bud Crawford, from Mike Tyson to Sugar Ray Leonard to Antonio Tarver to Roy Jones to Andre Ward. The list goes on and on and on and on. Now, when they voice their opinions, the Errol Spence fanatics would like to label them as haters. So I'm wondering, is Julian Jackson a shoe-in for the haters' ball? And this is one thing that Errol Spence fanatics are going to have to ask themselves. How come it seems that everybody in the boxing game, from active fighters to retired fighters, why are they all picking Bud? Is because they're all hating on Errol Spence, because they're all jealous of Errol Spence, even though these guys got reputations and legacies that far exceed anything that Errol Spence has done and is attempting to do and will do in the future. This is one of the things about calling people who's just giving their opinion. This is the thing about calling them haters, because at some point you're going to realize that this has been these men's professions for many of years. So maybe what they're basing it off of is not what Errol Spence based their emotions off of. Okay, they're basing theirs off of their boxing knowledge and logic and what they know and what they see in Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence. So at the end of the day, everybody can't be a hater. But even though the Errol-sexuals have labeled all the legends and everybody who picked Terrence Bud Crawford as a hater and being jealous of Errol Spence. Once again, that's not a realistic outlook. It's something to cover up the fact that you don't want to face the truth that even you know that Terrence Bud Crawford is a tough test for Errol Spence. And even you feel like Errol Spence doesn't have all the chops it takes to beat somebody like Terrence Bud Crawford. So you make up this delusional story in your head that these legends, these Hall of Famers, are lying and siding with Terrence Bud Crawford simply because Errol Spence must be such a big star. Errol Spence must have such a decorated resume. Errol Spence must be so spectacular in the ring that these guys can't stand it, that they have to lie on Errol Spence just because they don't want to give him his props or they're jealous of his position. Now, we're talking about people from Sugar Ray Leonard to Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is a living, walking legend. What Mike Tyson would be jealous of about Errol Spence, I have no idea, but I'm interested. If you guys want to tell me, you can leave it in the comment section because I'm hella interested. And why do I bring all this up? Because some YouTube content creators are just like these Hall of Fame fighters, these decorated fighters. They're just using their common boxing sense. And when they evaluate the situation, they are favoring Terrence Bud Crawford based off of boxing logic. Not because somebody's a fan of Eroll Spence, or he's from Texas, you're from Texas, or you're a PBC rider, or whatever the case may be. All right. Some people are basing what they say simply off boxing knowledge. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care about trying to make you look stupid. They don't care about you getting emotional. Nobody's basing it off that. It's actually based off common sense and their boxing logic and who they believe based on the skill set, who they believe will win the fight. And that's just it at the end of the day. And the thing is, you could go around calling YouTubers haters, but when you look up and you're calling every single legend who don't favor Eroll Spence jealous or hating, that's where you get delusional to the point where it's out in the open and you can't hide it and everybody know what it is. And at the end of the day, it just reeks of you don't have faith in your guy. Because honestly, if I had this many people siding with a fighter that I didn't favor or whatever, and whatever you want to call it, I would be eager. I would be extremely eager for these two gentlemen to fight so Eroll Spence can prove these guys wrong. But you want to know what the problem is? It's not about the fight. They don't want to see the fight. See, the problem with these Eroll Spence fans is they're invested in a personal way. And this tweet right here lets you know everything. And you see what Dan Raphael said. It's basically saying this is when it was rumored that Terrence Bud Crawford was going to get 50-50 and Eroll Spence just came up off that rock and he said, okay, we can split it down the middle. A Eroll Spence fanatic has a nerve to write, I hope he didn't give Terrence Bud Crawford 50-50. And Dan Raphael's like, what the fuck do you care? It's not your money. But this proves my exact point about Erosexuals. You would think, especially at that time, if they got news that it's a 50-50 split, that they're getting close to seeing the fight and getting close to coming up with an answer and a conclusion to what's been going on with this saga between the two. So they should be excited that the fight is getting made. But instead of being excited that their fight is going to be able to get in the ring and prove to the world what all of them has been saying, instead of that, where's their concentration on? How much money is Bud able to put inside of his pocket? That has nothing to do with him as a fan. You should be happy and excited the fight looks like it's getting made. But instead, you want to know what they're worried about? I hope he didn't get it. This lets you know that it's something personal with Erosexuals and Terrence Bud Crawford. Why do you care what money he makes? The only thing you should care about is seeing the fight. But at the end of the day, what they're most worried about is Terrence Bud Crawford not getting some money. That's how petty these guys is at the end of the day. So this shows and it's proved once again that they don't want this fight. And this is why they always been against the fight. And this is why they talk shit about anybody who favors Terrence Bud Crawford. They don't even have to be a fan of Terrence Bud Crawford. They could just be a fan of the sport and favor him to win in the fight. and you're gonna be accused of not liking Errol Spence, this, that, and the third. But we all know what it is. We all know a lot of these Errol-sexuals is ex-Deontay Wilder fans, that dropped off. But the interesting thing is this: I don't think Errol Spence is gonna have as much backup as he usually has, because you see, Wilder's back on the scene now. So these guys who basically shift over to Errol Spence once Deontay Wilder lost, they're going to shift right back over to Deontay Wilder. And at least we're going to see less of the whining, the complaining, the bullshit ass excuses, because I'll say this to an Errol Spence fan's credit. Before Deontay Wilder lost, I don't remember Errol-sexuals being this goddamn crazy and delusional about Errol Spence. Not till after Deontay Wilder lost. So it's interesting to see, is they still gonna have that same energy now that their king is back. I'm just saying though. But at the end of the day, this just goes to show you can't call everybody a hater just because they don't agree with who you think would win the fight. Sometimes it's just based off their knowledge and nothing more than that. Some people are not invested with pom-poms and knee pads. Some people are just fans of the sport and they call it like they see it. That's all I got for now. Like, comment, subscribe. Bruce Fang, I'm out.